Hello, this is Shade Ketchum, and welcome back to the Let's Play of Highway Blossoms. Where we last left off, we pretty much started our road trip with Marina, or I guess rather Amber started her road trip with Marina to find the treasure. And found out that Mariah and her group stole her car, took it apart for money, and sold her phone. This is a great start to everything. So let's just get right back into it. Feels like the page is staring back at me. In fact, at this point, it probably is. My gaze drifts from the journal to the window by the entrance. Marina is outside, twirling the payphone's cord as she pops in another quarter. She bites her lip and looks to the window. Her eyes meet. She sends me a small, anxious wave. Closing the book, I let out a yawn and remove my head from my fist. I'm sure there's a red imprint on my cheek. Figuring out we had to go to Shiprock was the easy part. Everything else has been a gigantic pain in the ass. You're missing a word there. Typos. There's a rush of precious cold air getting sucked from the building. Marina enters, carefully shutting the door and taking the seat opposite me in the booth.
So how'd it go?
It went fine, I guess.
Your parents are okay with all of this?
Maybe not okay,
A smile creeps onto her face.
but they understand.
At least someone gets it, because I still don't.
They weren't happy about the car, though.
I imagine so.
I think you were the only person who was.
Yeah. God, how are they gonna repay you for that?
How couldn't I be? Mariah showed us that the treasure is real.
She showed us a piece of gold. That doesn't necessarily mean it's part of the treasure.
You're going to believe the people who stole your car?
It was an accident. They didn't mean to. Besides, they're nice.
Joe and Tess? Am I remembering his name correctly? Joe and Tess? Yeah, they seem nice. I don't know how you see Mariah as nice, though. She's kind of the opposite. Before I can argue further, our waitress emerges from the kitchen carrying our order. A hot black coffee for me, a milkshake for Marina, and a large order of fries for us both. Really? Nothing but the fries? Okay. Marina's eyes brighten at the sight of the shake. Like with the slushy, her sweet tooth takes control of her and she practically starts drooling over the glass. With a nod, the waitress disappears back into the kitchen.
Thanks for the food, by the way.
But she can't let you starve.
Well, it's not like I really had a choice. I could hear your stomach from the driver's seat. I wasn't about to let you starve to death on my watch.
Yeah,
Plus, I was getting pretty hungry too.
also that. Amazingly, Marina didn't freak out at the sight of the diner, like she has at everything else so far. I was genuinely shocked when I didn't hear a gasp of awe escape her mouth as we pulled up.
Hey, Amber, why don't you get a shake too? Coffee and fries don't really go together, don't you think?
I don't know, some people have specific tastes, so maybe she likes them together.
I'm fine. I don't really like sweet things.
Yeah,
But it's super good, especially when you dip your fries in it.
in the shake or the coffee? Because I've tried dipping my fries in, like, other drinks. I once tried dipping them in soda out of curiosity. That was a mistake. She takes several of the fries and does just that, dipping them in the shake like it was ketchup or mustard.
That's silly. I can do the same thing with my coffee.
Amber, that I would not recommend that. Taking a fry, I dunk it into my coffee and take a bite out of it. I see you are realizing the error. That was a bad idea. Grimacing, I place the rest of the fry on my napkin as I try and cope with the cold chill and sulfury aftertaste. Yep! That's why it's... God, it just tastes horrible.
Maybe it would work better if you put creamer in it?
Probably not.
Somehow I doubt that. Besides, it would just ruin the coffee.
I don't know how you can even drink it without cream, or at least a little sugar. It's so bitter.
Some people like bitter taste.
It's an acquired taste. You find flavor in the bitterness.
That's why I think it's weird that you drink something like that.
How do you mean?
I don't know.
Her brow furrows in deep thought.
You always seem so yes or no about stuff. If you like something, then you do. If you don't like something, then you don't.
Fair enough.
You're losing me, Mare.
Mare?
What did Mom used to tell us when we didn't listen to her? Oh, yeah. Basically, you have a really thick head, Amber.
Marina? That's not the lighthearted jab you think it is. I nearly spit the coffee out of my mouth.
Gee, thanks.
Or was it a thick skull?
I don't think there's a difference.
Whatever, you know what I mean, right?
I think so. Maybe.
I think she just means that you're stubborn.
It wasn't really an acquired taste for me now that I think about it. Maybe I've always liked the bitterness.
You are kind of bitter. Or maybe I just convinced myself that I did. I don't know.
Is that a bad thing?
Just like in Maria's RV. Maria? Why do I keep making that mistake? Just like in Mariah's RV, Marina shakes her head and gives me a sweet, genuine smile.
I don't think so. I actually really like it. It reminds me of Shiprock.
A warm, tickling sensation bubbles up in my chest. It forces me to smile, but I play it off all cool and breezy-like.
So I remind you of a rock. You shouldn't say that kind of thing. People might think they're insults.
I don't know if anyone would really mistake that for an insult. It's so goofy of a comparison that I think they'd just be more confused than anything. Satisfied with how I played that off, I reach for a fry to reward myself, but instead of a hot, crispy goodness, something smooth brushes against my fingertips. I gaze down at the plate of fries. Marina's hand for a split second rests below mine. We instinctively snap back. Marina's face is a bright shade of pink, and mine is probably similar.
Sorry.
The room feels 10 degrees hotter. We try to reestablish eye contact, but our glances shoot off in other directions as soon as we meet.
Hey, Amber?
I managed to compose myself long enough to look back.
You said something about bills and expenses last night, right? I don't know what exactly you meant by that or what it is you have to pay off, but since we know the treasure is real now, I was wondering... Maybe you might think about sticking around to look with me? We could even split it. Or something.
It's not a bad idea. If you do find treasure, well, may as well use the money for something.
Well, first off, we don't even know if the treasure is actually real. Mariah could be pulling our legs.
My coffee is mostly gone. All that's left is a puddle and a few stray grounds.
I'll think about it, though.
Really?
I only said I would think about it. Don't get too excited just yet.
I won't. I just think it would be super cool.
Marina flops her chin down and rests on the table.
How's it going anyway? Have you figured out where the first part of the treasure might be?
No luck. It's not like the guy drew a map or anything. He just jotted down details about the places he went to.
That and rambling about how awesome he was. Yeah, I noticed that. It's kind of fun to read, honestly. He's like a character in like some cartoon that just is constantly like ranting about how great they are and stuff.
Do you think Mariah was right and he hit it on top of old Shippy?
Don't listen to Mariah, okay? She doesn't know what she's talking about. Think about it. How would he even scale the mountain? He was traveling solo on horseback. I doubt he would have the tools to do it.
Could he climb it by hand?
And even if he did, I'm pretty sure he would have gone on and on about it in his journal.
Probably. Unless it was so embarrassing he felt compelled not to write it down. With a puppy dog whine, Marina frowns.
Are you sure he didn't mention anything else? Maybe something we didn't catch?
I slid the book across the table and over the leftover crumbs, stretching out my stiff joints as I rest against the booth.
Take a look if you want. My eyes are gonna start bleeding if I read it again. The only things he really mentioned are the rocks and the dikes around it.
Oh!
Marina forces herself to stare down at the plate, the blush from earlier reappearing. Oh? Oh.
No, not like that.
I stifle a giggle. Just teasing her is gonna be a blast.
I mean the rocks that branch out from the mountain. That's what they're called. Huh.
It's so simple, but it makes sense. I shoot up and throw down some money. Marina jumps at the sound of the table rattling.
What's the matter? Did you figure out where it is?
Maybe. At least a general area.
I march toward the door. The table rattles again as Marina leaps up. She stayed behind to straighten it out before scrambling to catch up with me.
We're going now?
Hell no. We don't have any equipment. But we know someone who does.
Yep, time to call in a favor. I shove the door open, the last bastion between refreshing air and burning dry heat.
Come on. Let's go cash in a favor.
I just said that. Off-screen transition.
It sure was nice for Mariah and her friends to let us use some of their equipment.
That is a rusty-looking shovel and metal detector.
Only after that Joseph guy begged her to.
Yeah, at least he's nice and responsible. Sort of makes up for it. I paused to look around. We decided to wait until nightfall to go look around some more. It's like an entirely different world the further you get from the insanity. Quiet and calm, the only lights are the stars and the faint glow of the campground, the campers and motorhomes flickering in the distance. Marina fiddles with the metal detector's headphones, removing them halfway.
Sorry, the beeping's loud. What was that?
Forget it. I'm not playing that game. Just keep listening.
Oh!
Did you find something?
I think so. It's over here.
I set aside my shovel and throw myself to the ground, clawing at the sand. A shiny speck sticks out of the ground. Frantically, I dig it up.
Is it the gold?
It's...
I scrape harder.
It's...
Harder!
It's...
Finally unearth it and hold it up to the starlight.
A soda tab.
Yup. That's what you're gonna find most of the time with metal detectors. Just random, meaningless stuff.
Damn it! This is the 5th one!
If we find any more, we could start making a curtain out of them.
I guess. Wait, I've never really traveled in an RV. Does it typically have a shower or a bathtub? Or both? I send the tab flying, speeding off over the dikes.
Maybe we should call it a night. I'm sure we can find it once we're fresh in the morning.
Nah, that's no good. We can only do it now because Parks and Recreation isn't paying as much attention.
I'm sorry, but I just had to stifle a giggle there. Though even now, someone's still guarding the area near the campground. The rocks give us some cover, so I don't think we'll be spotted, but we still need to be careful.
We'll keep looking for a little while. If we can't find anything, we might want to assume the worst.
Her face wrenches with hopelessness.
That somebody else found it?
That it doesn't exist! Jeez, it's like you've never even considered that it might not be real.
But Mariah!
Yeah, I know.
I mean, Mariah's not the most trustworthy person. I grab my shovel and swing it back over my shoulder. As we walk, we stay as close to the mountain range as possible.
Why are you so gung-ho about this thing anyway? If you're just in it for the cash, there are better ways to make money than dragging yourself around the desert.
Maybe just because it's fun.
Oh no, it's nothing like that. It's just...
Her voice trails off. It hangs over us, never fully evaporating into the cool night air.
It's okay. Don't feel like you have to tell me.
We both have things we don't want to talk about. That's becoming very clear. At least Marina doesn't swerve off the road so she can go pout. I just don't want to think about it. All I've been doing for the last month is thinking about it. I almost wish my brain would quit working so I wouldn't have to. So naturally I take a long, lonely trip with nothing to do except think.
Amber, it's happening again!
Marina stops, hands quivering as she tightens her grip.
I swear, if this is another soda tab...
No. It'll be something even more worthless.
I don't think it is. The beeping is really loud, and it's vibrating a lot.
Wait, it's vibrating?
Please stop. Okay.
Uh-huh. It feels weird.
The metal detector hovers over the ground between the rock and the sand. I thrust my shovel into the spot, the metal scraping against the edge of the dike. Planting my foot on the shovel's head, I drive it further into the ground, using every ounce of my strength to dig. The first load of dirt and sand unclenches from the ground, loosening the earth around it. I throw the load aside and repeat the process. Each time it's a little easier and a little lighter. That is a very small pickaxe sound. Finally, the shovel strikes something hard, sending a shocking vibration through my hand and up my entire body. Hang on. Let's try that. Yeah, that's good.
Bedrock?
I haven't dug that deep.
Dropping to my knees, I reach my hands into the hole and brush off the remaining dirt. Marina leans in. The sound of her anxiously swallowing is barely audible over my heavy breathing. My fingers brush against something. I gulp and pull out the hole's contents, a small, rotting wood box. My heart stops. Trembling, I open the box, the leftover dirt falling onto my lap. Gold.
It exists? It exists?
It exists!
This art is adorable. Marina yells at the top of her lungs, a yell so loud that it bounces off the mountain, echoing off to the horizon and then back again. Marina has been unleashed. Next you know, she'll turn into a werehog. Or I guess it would just be a werewolf in this instance.
Shh, not so loud. They might hear us.
She lowers her voice to an excited whisper, channeling her energy into bouncing up and down.
But it exists! I told you it did!
She's right, and despite being proven wrong, I can't help but smile. Here I thought it was going to be some plastic treasure chest with a coupon for chocolate milk inside it, or something equally shameless and corporate. That is oddly specific, Amber.
Amber!
Aw. My only warning is a quick gust of wind. Before I even have a chance to brace for it, I'm engulfed by Marina and her hug.
What?
It's real! I told you it was! I told you!
I stop for a second, then smile.
Yeah, you were right. It's real.
Should we tell someone? What do we even do now?
No, you probably don't tell someone. They will come after you for that gold.
Honestly, I'm not sure. It's getting pretty late, though. Let's pack it up for the night. We can think about what to do in the morning.
For now, we can just marvel at the fact that it's not bogus.
Sound like a plan?
It does, but
She takes a deep, long breath, inhaling all the air around and maybe even some of mine, then releases it all at once.
it's actually really real!
Shh! Marina, quiet! They're gonna hear us.
Very long fade out. A thunderous banging wakes me from a dead sleep, rattling the entire motorhome. I'm gonna take a wild guess and say that someone is back for their shovel and metal detector. Metal detector? What happened?
Hey! I know you two are in there!
Yep.
You thieves better not still be sleeping!
The muffled shout leaks in from outside, followed by another voice.
Sis, it's not even 7. Can I go back to bed?
Why did you drag her out here? And another voice.
You're better off just rolling with it. For her, it may as well be noon.
Why did you drag both of them out here?
Open up, or I swear Joe's gonna bust down this door!
Wait, what?
Gee, I wonder who this could be. I highly doubt you're gonna do that. Also, why Joe? What's stopping you from trying? I roll out of bed and open the slider connecting to the other rooms. Marina is sitting pressed up against the back of the fold-out bed with the sheets over her head. Is she hiding, or is she just trying to sleep still?
Who do you think it is?
Really?
Take a wild guess.
I march over and throw open the door. As expected, my 3 favorite people stand before me. Hey. Joseph and Tess are fine. And Mariah is... Mariah.
It's about time! Do you have any idea how long we've been out here?
A groggy Tess sways from side to side. Joseph's gentle hands are the only thing preventing her from passing out on the ground.
It's funny that you, of all people, would accuse us of theft.
True.
What else would you call what happened to my equipment?
What would you call what happened to the car?
I don't know. Borrowing? You loaned it to us, remember?
Correction. Joe loaned it to you.
Okay, here's the thing. Did he pay for them or did you pay for them? Because if he did, it's his business to lend it. Joseph gives a tired smirk and a wave.
I was forced to sit idly by and watch you make off with it. That's theft if I ever seen it.
I don't think that counts as theft. Ay. She pushes me aside and clambers into the motorhome, followed by the other 2. No, just come in without an invite.
Looks like we're coming in.
Hey,
Good morning.
go let the child go back to bed.
Hey, you 3. Morning. How are you guys doing?
Tired. For what it's worth, we tried stopping her.
And I thank you for trying. Mariah stomps to the middle of the motorhome, analyzing everything before releasing a loud scoff.
So where's my stuff?
Well, I imagine somewhere in the motorhome.
If you don't get out of my RV in 5 seconds, it'll be shoved up your ass.
Don't worry about it. You guys are great.
She just, these 2 are a recipe for disaster.
Hey, Tess. Did you hang up your new wind chime?
I feel like if we left them alone for like 5 minutes, they'd come out bloody and bruised from just trying to kick each other's asses. Tess's eyes flicker with interest for all of a second, then return to their obstinate, droopy state.
Uh-huh. Above my bed.
What's up with the fold-out? You two don't sleep together?
You made that assumption real quick.
What?
Told ya.
Damn it.
Mariah, out of curiosity, why did you even think that initially? Like, I mean, I get it, but SFX money. Grumbling, Mariah pulls a bill from her pocket and slaps it in Joe's hand.
Does that mean we get to sleep in tomorrow morning?
Yes, please let her sleep in.
Sure does, kiddo. Sure does.
The ringleader of the circus returns to inspecting the motorhome, fiddling with the magnets on the fridge. Don't touch the fridge magnets.
Anyway, give me back my equipment and we'll get out of your hair.
Come on, just let them use it. It's the least we can do after tearing apart her car.
Yeah. Mariah's attention turns to the counter, topped with the opened box of stunning gold nuggets from the night before.
And whose fault was... What is this?
What is what?
The thing on the counter? It almost looks like...
Oh, that? That's the piece of the treasure we found.
Ha! Yeah, right! You're kidding.
She chuckles. She stops.
She's kidding, right?
Time to brag. I have a devious thought and crack an equally devious smile.
Nope. She's telling the truth. 100%.
I wrap my arm around Mariah and bring her close. Joseph and Tess shoot each other alarmed glances.
We found it last night. With your equipment.
She stands there stupefied.
No! That's impossible. You're lying.
Really now? Hey, Marina, why don't you tell her about it?
Sure thing!
Oh, God.
It started yesterday after we met. Amber looked at the journal again and thought it might be near the smaller rocks behind the bigger one. They're called dikes, I think. Anyway, turns out she was right!
Mariah looks down, muttering to herself.
But how? Why wouldn't he just hide it on the mountain?
Well, one, that would probably be too obvious, and two, you know how difficult it is to climb a mountain?
It doesn't make sense. If he was going back to Missouri...
Her voice diminishes until her words are reduced to lip flaps. Like a mad scientist trying to figure out a complex equation, she retreats into her own little world.
Mariah?
A smidge of sympathy buds inside me. I look to Joseph and Tess. Even they look a little shocked.
Is she gonna be okay?
Probably.
I honestly don't know.
Tess approaches Mariah, who is still whispering nonsense under her breath. Nonchalantly, Tess hops in front of her, her hand reaching upwards, trying to wave it in front of Mariah and bring her back to our world. No response. Tess pulls Mariah's arms skyward and then allows them to flop down to her side. Still no response.
You know, we've been looking into that treasure since we were kids.
Joseph steps up to the counter and stares into the box.
Never expected someone else to find it before us.
That's more than I can say. I didn't even think it existed.
There's that too.
Yeah. He sighs, then with a shrug, cracks a smile.
Well, good job anyway. You ladies seem cool, so if it couldn't be us, then at least it was you.
You guys want to stick around? We could tell you more about it.
He looks at Mariah.
Somehow, I don't think that would be healthy for her. Or you.
Yeah, probably not, because I imagine once she snaps out of this, she's going to be angrier than she's ever been. He grabs Mariah by the shoulders and begins pushing her towards the exit.
Come on, Mariah. Let's go make you a nice cold michelada. You two can keep the equipment. Think of it as an apology gift.
Thank you. because cheaply made tools I could get at any hardware store are of equal value to a car. They're almost out of the motorhome when Mariah flips and rushes back.
Hold on a minute, thief!
Yep, there she is. She looks me straight in the eyes, her expression returning to that of a piercing hawk.
You just had beginner's luck. You might have found the first piece, but I promise you, me and my team will find the rest.
She extends a hand and smirks. I pause for a moment, then grab it and offer a smirk of my own.
You're on.
Oh, this'll be a fun rivalry. Marina and Joseph both let out a sigh of relief, as if they just witnessed the signing of a peace treaty. I wouldn't call this a peace treaty. This could get messy.
Well, guess that takes care of that.
Now let's get out of here and go back to a proper base.
Are you going to drink until you feel better again, sis?
Oh god.
Shut up! Didn't Mom ever teach you any manners?
You always said Mom is an airheaded ditz who wouldn't know good advice or a good man if it bit her on the butt.
Well, that explains a lot.
Oh yeah.
Sorry for all the trouble, ladies. See you two down the road.
Have a nice day. Joseph pulls on the door closed. Marina and I stay put as the bickering of the trio fades into the distance.
Were you serious?
About what?
The treasure. You told Mariah that you were gonna find the rest.
I mean, we may as well.
If you were just being nice and want to leave now, that's fine too. You've already done a lot for me.
She casts her eyes downwards to hide her emotions, but I know better than by now.
And let you keep all the treasure for yourself? Hell no.
Her eyes bounce back.
Besides, someone's got to keep you from getting yourself into trouble. May as well be me.
For real? But don't you have the festival to go to?
It's still a little while away. I wanted to do some sightseeing anyway.
Marina launches forward. Before I can sidestep, she tackles me with the force of a gold-filled freight train. I don't even try to resist. It's futile in the grace of Marina's hugs.
Thank you, 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 thank you!
Actually, I probably owe you an apology.
She cocks her head and looks up at me. I look away, my bashful side taking over.
Well, you know, I kept saying it wasn't real and stuff.
Hey, don't worry about it. Most people wouldn't have given me the time of day.
Yeah, but
Relax. Just figure out where we have to go next.
I smile. We walk to the front of the RV and take our seats. Grabbing the journal from the glove compartment, I flip it open. I glance over the second to last entry. Key phrases like split path, detour, and acres of identical arched stone throw my brain to the deep end, drowning me in dizzying puzzles before I've even fully read it. Marina peeks over, trying to decipher the entries with me. A speck of inadequacy crawls up inside me, and I quickly flip into the next entry before Marina notices I'm stuck. I'll deal with that later. For now, we'll just narrow this down. Much has happened since my last entry, so let me waste no time in beginning. As I mentioned previously, I had begun to develop a cough of sorts during my travels. At the time, I thought nothing of it, just a result of being overexposed to the elements. After all, a handsomely rugged and worldly man such as myself should be used to such things. But I digress. Unfortunately, the more I continued under the blazing sun, the more my condition worsened, until finally my body gave out. The last thing I remember is falling off my steed. Sometime later, I awoke next to a fire, with my horse nearby. I, myself, could not move, as I was held down by illness and sweat, but I was reassured by a man sitting across from me. Upon further inspection, I realized he was a native of this land. I had several encounters with people of this sort during my time on the wagon trail, so naturally I was suspicious, and fearful for the remainder of my goal. However, the man said he had no interest in such things. A dry, quiet fellow, the man told me his name was Lamasi, and that I was in a canyon his people occupied, although they had been driven to a different segment of it some years back. His English was quite fluent, and when I inquired, he said he had learned from settlers as a boy. Over the next several days, Lamasi would nurse me back to health. We would never stray too far, as he preferred looking after his estranged tribe from a distance, but I was able to explore portions of his home. Eventually, I stumbled upon a long, ruined home built into the cave on the side of the mountain. According to Lamasi, there are many more like it, though they originally belonged to enemies of his ancestors. It was then that I realized where I would lead the next portion of my bounty. On my last day with him, I informed Lamasi of my plans, where he casually promised to guard it for me until I returned. But before I left, he pointed me in the direction of a sacred landmark, one so giant and huge, it would simultaneously be a conspicuous and inconspicuous hiding place. With that knowledge, I bid farewell to my new friend and trusted the gold in his care. Perhaps I will reward him some on the return trip.
You're my Lamesi, Amber.
Suddenly, my chest feels like a hummingbird is fluttering around in it. I shift my eyes away from her smile and hide my face. Yeah, Mariah's guess about you two was not far off.
Thanks.
When you strip away the circumstances, I guess I did save and protect her like that Lamasi guy did with the miner.
A gorge is like a canyon, right?
Yes. Marina leans in closer and points to the entry, strands of her soft hair tickling my cheek. I scoot back and power through it, taking a sharp breath to recollect myself.
Basically, yeah.
Marina nearly springs out of her seat in a burst of realization, her head an inch away from smacking into the ceiling.
Oh my god. Does that mean we get to go to the Grand Canyon? Do we get to go to the Grand Canyon, Amber?
No.
Not unless history decides to rewrite itself. There are lots of canyons with ruins. One of them is the Grand Canyon, but most of them have been cleaned out for hundreds of years.
I choked down a groan. Indian ruins aren't exactly rarities around here. Maybe that other entry wasn't so bad after all.
So we're looking for a place that was still being used in the 1850s.
Well, that's specific. Marina hunkers down and thinks with me, wrinkles forming on her forehead as she tries to strain out an answer. I'm pretty sure she doesn't even know where to start, but hey, at least she's trying.
Well, there is one place.
Marina hardly gets a breath out before I crush her dreams once again.
Not the Grand Canyon.
Yeah. She slinks back into her chair and quietly pouts.
It's still in Arizona, but it's a different place. Canyon de Chelly. The Navajo weren't chased out until 1863, so the timing isn't too screwy. Place is loaded with ruins, too.
Oh, are they Puebloan ruins?
My flow of information stops. She knows what I'm talking about? She can actually pronounce it?
Yeah. I'm surprised you know that.
Yep, I've been reading some of those travel guides lying around. Super interesting.
Those things must be about as old as I am now. I didn't have the heart to throw them away when I was cleaning everything out.
Hey, that's how I did it. It's the best way to learn. Anyway, Canyon de Chelly is pretty damn close to here.
She gasps.
So it might have lined up with the route he took.
Maybe.
Well, I can't be 100% positive, but...
I closed my eyes and snapped the book shut, the air between the pages puffing out at us. Then, with one eye open, shoot Marina a grin.
I'm pretty sure.
Arizona's highways are infamously boring. Nothing but hills. Up, down, up, down. There's nothing interesting to look at. Both sides of the road are smothered in nondescript shrubs. It's the part of the country where you just zone out and drive on autopilot. When we finally see a sign of the town, Chinelle, right now. Did I pronounce that correctly? I'm tired, so I probably didn't. When we finally see a sign for the town of Chanel, right next to the canyon, it feels like we're approaching the promised land. Marina looks up from the book she's reading just in time to miss the sign.
Was that it? Are we there yet?
Nah, 40 miles to go still, so about half an hour.
Okay. I just sighed for a very specific reason that I'll get into near the end of this Let's Play. Oh, God. She makes us sound like a popped balloon and goes back to reading. Marina, I shared the same feelings, but for a different reason. We take an exit into a tiny excuse for a town, one of those places that has a gas station and a few old houses. It's like a Monopoly, where you buy up all the property you can, even though it's not that great.
This is it?
Marina repeats her earlier question as I slow down to turn left.
Nope. Almost. I don't even know what this place is called.
She makes the popped balloon noise again, but leaves the book closed. When we finally reach Chanel, it's pretty obvious. This is the first real town we've seen in hours. The outskirts are industrial, dominated by what I assume are factories. A pair of stray dogs lope around along the side of the road, hungry and lean. Marina makes a sound of sympathy, pressing her face against the glass as we pass them. We cannot keep the dogs.
Hey, Amber!
No.
We're not getting a dog.
But they're so cute! And we could dress them up in a bandana and...
No way. I've never gotten why people want to dress their pets up like people.
God, you two are already acting like you're married. Mariah was really spot on.
It's cute.
She was spot on, maybe just a little bit early. Marina pouts. I figured she was just joking, but she didn't actually think I would let her get a dog, right? Seems that all is forgiven by the time I pull into a gas station. She's bouncing in her seat with her usual enthusiasm. Or maybe it's her bladder. My second guess must have been correct, because as soon as I shut off the engine, she darts out of the RV and into the store. While she does that, I fuel up. No telling when we'll see the next gas station. Could be 100 miles, and this thing drinks gasoline like a thirsty dog drinks water. By the time I finish, Marina still isn't back, so I lock up and head inside. The store is devoid of other customers. It's unremarkable, with the usual selection of candy, chips, and overpriced beef jerky. I'm not hungry, just passing time. Soon, Marina trots out of the bathroom, glancing around. She spots me and heads over.
Want anything?
Duh, let's see.
I leave her to agonize over the candy bars while I flip through some of the travel brochures beneath the window. There are a couple about Canyon Giselle. What is wrong with me today? There are a couple about Canyon and Giselle, which is our destination just up the road. There are flyers for other Arizona attractions too, including the non-local ones. Of course, there are a few brochures for the Grand Canyon, plus a couple must-see sites in Phoenix, the capital. There's even an ad for a novelty called The Thing in Tucson, but that's far out of our way.
Okay, I'm ready.
What did you get? I turn around. Marina has a couple of king-size candy bars in her hands and a large bottle of Coke tucked under her arm.
You seriously need all that?
I mean, there's only a couple of candy bars. Also, the Coke? You're gonna need something to drink on like a road trip through Arizona. Though it'd probably be better to get some water.
I thought we could share.
The candy bars or the Coke? She gives me her best offended puppy impression.
Fine, fine.
If all else fails, pull out the puppy dog, guys. I still don't want anything, but I can't say no to that.
Here. I'm gonna use the bathroom too. Meet you at the car.
I place my wallet atop the pallet of candy she's carrying and send her towards the attendant. When I come back out of the bathroom, Marina's still talking to the clerk. There's a bag in her hand, so she must have already finished paying and gotten distracted talking. I joined the two of them.
Closed off, so only the guided tours are open right now.
Marina looks like she's seen a ghost.
What's up?
I take my wallet from where it's just sitting forgotten on the counter.
I was just asking about the canyon and the tours and stuff.
The clerk nods.
Yup. I was saying how if you're here to sightsee, you might have some trouble. A lot of it's closed off because of all the kids coming and causing trouble looking for treasure.
Of course they are. Damn, I'm not surprised, but that's frustrating.
What isn't closed off?
Well, there are still some tours you can go on. Most of them, I think. But you can't do the self-guided ones.
Marina looks at me, eyes wide. Clearly she's expecting some solution from me. I just smile at the attendant
Got it. Thank you.
and lead a dumbstruck Marina out of the store. As I unlock the RV, Marina prances around me.
What are we gonna do?
Well, I'm gonna take a nap.
She stops.
Huh?
I'm tired, so I'm going to nap for a little bit. I checked one of the pamphlets and there's a tour at 6:30, so we'll just join that and then sneak off.
It's a simple plan, but it can work.
Like, on our own?
Yeah.
Sometimes the simplest solution is the best solution. Her eyes go wide again.
Amber, you're a genius!
I twist a lock of my hair around my finger and glance away. Her constant compliments are a little embarrassing, especially for stuff that seems obvious to me.
Thanks. It's not much of a plan, though.
Yeah, but at least it's a plan. I thought we were just gonna have to give up or something.
Nah. Rules are made to be broken and all that.
I feel a bit guilty that we'll be breaking rules specifically put in place because of people like us, but I can safely say that we'll be more careful than the average treasure hunter. Just picturing Mariah, I can easily see her smashing down ancient ruins in her search. She'd probably be the type to, just start smashing the rocks with like a sledgehammer or something. Which sounds kind of funny to watch.
But yeah, wake me up at 5:30. Unless you're going to nap too.
Nope, I'm not tired anymore, so I'll just read some more.
Alright. Good night.
Night-night!
Amber, I envy you for being able to, just fall asleep easily like that. God, I wish I was able to do that. Maybe I'd be able to get more sleep then. I leave her up in the front as I head back to my bed and fall into it. After bunching up my blankets around me, it doesn't take long to fall asleep. Oh. Okay. I wake up slowly, fighting to keep my eyes open. In the back of my head, I feel like something is wrong. It takes a minute before I realize I've overslept. Marina, where are you? It's 5:45. Marina was supposed to wake me up 15 minutes ago.
Marina?
I call her name but get no response. Rolling out of bed, I massage my eyes and stumble up towards the front. Of course she's asleep, sprawled out on the dash with her head buried in her arms. Looks like she's been out for a while. Jerking her by the shoulder, I shake her awake.
What's up, Amber?
Her speech is slurred by sleepiness. I ignore the temptation to make the not you joke.
How's that book you're reading?
It's great. I just put it down to...
A look of shock spreads across her face. Mounting horror takes over as she realizes the time.
Oh God, I'm so sorry. I was just gonna nap, but then I forgot to set an alarm. To wake me up.
Yeah, that's what alarms are for.
Freaking out, she hurriedly tries to buckle her seatbelt, failing several times in her frenzy. I pat her on the shoulder as I sit down. It's not even a big deal, but she's so worked up.
It's cool. We're not late yet. Ready to go?
Marina just nods, staring at the floor. I buckle up and turn the key. The engine roars to life and I throw it in reverse. I have to crane my neck to make sure I don't run over anyone. Road signs direct us out of town and towards the canyon. After spending so long on the highway, going down these streets with lower speed limits feels restrictive. From the corner of my eye, I watch Marina. She's being abnormally quiet. She fixes her hair, pops her knuckles, and rubs her shoulders, but she doesn't say anything. Finally, I cave.
What's wrong with you?
Huh? What do you mean?
Her tone of voice is stressed. Maybe I'm more intimidating than I think.
You're being weird. Super quiet.
Yeah, normally you're incredibly peppy. Kind of like Pinkie Pie.
Oh, I didn't know if you were mad at me or not.
No!
What, for falling asleep?
She nods.
Nah, I'm not mad. Trust me, you'd know for sure if I was.
Yeah, it's just like, it's a few minutes, it's fine.
I told you it wasn't a big deal, didn't I?
You promise?
Yeah, I promise.
Marina bounces in her seat, immediately cheerier.
Okay, cool. 'Cause, like, if you were mad at me already, that would be a bad sign.
Sign of what?
That we wouldn't be good partners. You know, treasure hunting buddies?
Oh, we're partners now, are we? You're the sidekick, right?
No way. I'm totally the main character. We're here because of me.
I mean, you're effectively both the main characters. I laugh, causing her to turn away smiling. She's a lot cuter when she smiles. I've been smiling more too, I realize, as I think that it starts to make me sad again. Do I really deserve to be smiling right now?
Hey, Amber?
Huh.
Like she read my mind, Marina snaps me out of it.
Can we listen to Super Crush again?
You seriously like that one?
Super Crush was one of those groups that Gramps loved to show off to other people because they were so weird. All the members played a different instrument on each album, so it was like a whole other band every time.
Yeah, it was different, but in a good way.
I mean, that does sound interesting.
That's definitely true.
With one hand on the steering wheel, I dig around in the bin of tapes by my feet. I flick my gaze between that and the road. Eventually I find the one I'm looking for. It was a Halloween orange case and with text that looks like slime. That is oddly specific. When it starts to play, Marina hums along. She's almost on key. Guess she liked it enough to remember how the songs go. I crank the volume up, earning a grin from Marina. The sound is tinny and distorted at this level. More distorted than usual, I mean. But it's also more fun. Our smiles last all the way until we roll into a nearly empty parking lot. As I turn the volume back down, I can tell she's thinking the same thing I am.
Amber?
Yeah?
Shouldn't there be, like, other people waiting here?
There probably should. What time is it?
Marina twists around to check.
6:20?
What the hell? Did they start early?
There are other cars around, but they're all unoccupied. My parking job is hasty and I take up 2 spaces, but don't bother to correct it. We hurry out of the RV. I almost forget the key in the ignition and have to double back to grab it. Marina's already over at an information desk. Marina's already over at an information desk, probably talking to a stranger. Or ranger. Oh, that's why I'm messing up my speech. It's lunchtime and I haven't eaten. Okay. But then she turns back to me, the despair on her face visible even though it's getting dark.
There's no one here!
There aren't any lights on inside either. Probably closed at 6. I vaguely recall reading that in a brochure, but I thought there would still be someone around for the tours.
Don't panic!
I jog back to the RV and unlock it again. Rummaging through the glove box, I pull out the little blue flashlight that Gramps gave me a few years ago. I click it on and off a couple of times to make sure that it works. After I lock everything up again, I join Marina at the unhelpful help desk. She's bouncing on her heels, hands clasped together.
Hey, it's alright. Worst comes to worst, we'll just do it tomorrow.
But what if someone else finds the treasure tonight?
I don't have an answer for that one.
Guess we'll just have to catch up then, huh?
Turning on the flashlight, I swing the beam around. While there's still some daylight left, it isn't much, maybe half an hour at the most.
Catch up to what?
The tour group, silly. Even if we're late, they can't have left that long ago. And they'll be stopping a bunch, so we should be able to find them easily.
By ourselves?
Her voice is almost a squawk, like a surprised parrot.
Well, yeah. I don't see anyone else around. Do you?
I swivel around, illuminating nothing but rocks and bushes.
Come on, it'll be fine. It's not like there are going to be bears or mountain lions this close to a parking lot.
Those kinds of things live here?
If she didn't know that, then what is she afraid of?
Probably. I don't know. But come on, we're wasting time.
Marina whimpers. Then, surprising me, she grabs my hand. Hers is sweaty and warm. I turn and look at her, and meet her wide eyes. It looks like she might cry, and makes me regret being so pushy.
We don't have to do it if you don't want to.
She shakes her head, but clings to me like a kid, her free hand buried in my clothes. If it were any brighter out, she'd see my face turn red.
No. Like I said, if we don't go now, someone else will beat us to it. Just stay close, okay?
Yeah, of course.
She lets me lead, but doesn't let go of my hand. A large wooden sign marks the start of the trail.
So, are you scared of the dark?
No answer.
But you were fine at Shiprock.
That was different.
Marina's arm jerks, but she doesn't let go.
That was in a town. With people. And roads. And no mountain lions.
That zoom in just makes that funnier than it probably is meant to be. The temptation to tease her is more strong, but I don't. Every time a bird caws or something makes the brush shake, I feel her flinch a little. Somehow, even this side of her is cute too. A little childish, sure, but it's nice to have her rely on me to keep her safe. To take her mind off things, I make small talk.
So, what are you gonna do once you're filthy rich from the treasure?
Sorry, what?
I asked what you'll do with your share of the treasure.
Oh, I'm not sure yet. I haven't thought about it.
We're out here looking, and you don't even have a plan for it?
I mean, it's like if you ask someone if they win the lottery, what's the first thing they're gonna do with it? They're gonna have to take a minute to think about it.
It was a spur-of-the-moment thing. What about you, huh?
I don't know either.
Ha! See, I'm not.
Yeah, but I wasn't planning on looking for it, you know? I haven't spent as much time thinking about it.
I glance behind me to see Marina stick out her tongue. I laugh.
But, let's see. I definitely need to pay off Gramps' hospital and funeral expenses. After that, I guess I should probably get the motorhome fixed up. It's not gonna break down on us or anything, but it's kind of old.
Why not just buy a new one?
Hell no!
My response comes out snappier than I intended.
It's just that it has sentimental value, you know? I'd rather keep that than buy a newer, better car. I grew up in that thing. I could never just replace it. After that, I'd probably just keep doing what I was doing before I met you.
And what's that?
Wandering.
Don't you want to stop wandering sometime?
My steps slow a bit. It's an innocent question, but it hits me hard.
Not yet, no.
I whisper it. Marina catches up next to me, dropping my hand as she does so.
At least I'm not the only one without a goal.
I poke her in the side and she squirms away a couple of feet.
Ow!
Torque.
It's hard to stay sound around her. As we turn around a curve in the road, the tour group comes into view. Just ahead is a cluster of people, most of them armed with flashlights. It's hard to know for sure, but I can see at least a dozen different figures. The tour guide is shining his light up at a rock face, illuminating some designs on it. Everyone has their backs to us.
Try to be as sneaky as possible.
Which means do not just, go sneak, sneak, sneak as you're sneaking.
We want to join up without them noticing, like we've been there the whole time. If anyone notices us show up, they might notice when we leave.
Why do we have to join up in the first place?
Blend in.
I don't know how to get to the ruins we're looking for. We'll stay with the group until the tour gets there, and then we'll sneak off.
Marina nods.
Okay, follow my lead. And remember, be as quiet as you can.
We creep forward slowly. If someone were to turn around and see us, we'd look pretty suspicious. But nobody does. The lecture on petroglyphs gets their full attention. Marina kicks a rock and I tense up, expecting that to break the spell. But we're close enough now that if it did, it might not matter. As we reach on the back of the tour group without anyone noticing, I give Marina a thumbs up, which she returns.
Right, you can see the Anasazi ruins. Some of the Navajo people still call the area home. There's a living community in the canyon who...
I'm not too interested in hearing about the history of the place, so I turn back to Marina. She's looking up at the pictures too, though her eyes appear glazed over. When she catches me staring, she blinks and then smiles. I smile back, though I must look like an idiot just watching her instead of the lecture. After a minute, the guide's speech concludes and we start to walk down the trail. Much to my dismay, before I can say anything to Marina, the woman in front of us turns around.
Isn't that just crazy?
Huh?
It takes a second for me to understand that she's talking to me. She fits just about every stereotype of redneck, from the huge hat on her head to the baby strapped to her chest. She'd probably be attractive if not for the layers of sunscreen coating her face, even though it's nearly nighttime. They make her look like a ghost.
I said, isn't that just crazy? What he was saying about those Indians and how they used to communicate with each other.
Oh, yeah.
Even if I wanted to talk to her, I still have no idea what the guide had said.
They were just so darn clever. Really makes you wonder how they all ended up dying out, huh?
Yeah, my thoughts exactly, Amber.
I'm pretty sure a lot of them are still alive. And some of them live here? In this canyon?
Yeah. I'd heard that much at least, but apparently not everyone did. For a second, the woman looks at me like I'm crazy, but then she busts up laughing.
Sorry, you're absolutely right. I was thinking of them Aztecs down in Mexico.
How did you mix the two up? Her laugh is more like a bray. She sounds like a farm animal. In my head, I keep hoping she'll turn back around and leave us alone. But we're not so lucky. She keeps on chatting us up as we follow the trail. I'm self-conscious about how noisy she's being compared to the low noise level of the others.
Say, is that where the name Texas comes from? From Aztec?
Probably not. Before I can answer, she started shouting at someone else.
Howard! Hey, Howard, come over here!
By now, nearly everyone is looking at us.
Ma'am, can you please keep your voice down?
Oops, sorry.
She apologizes loudly. So much for staying inconspicuous. Howard makes his way over. He looks rather defeated. Face drooping and shoulders sagging. I figure he's the woman's husband.
Yes, dear.
I was just talking to this girl here about history, and I was wondering, does the name Texas have anything to do with the Aztecs? Since the words sound kind of similar?
I don't think so.
Huh, go figure.
She cackles again. Beside her, Howard sighs. For his sake, I hope her family is loaded or something. Every time she laughs, the baby on her chest bounces, but the lucky kid sleeps right through it all. Maybe he's used to this.
Anyway, I must have left my manners back in Wisconsin. My name's Linda, and this is my husband, Howard. This little chimp right here
She thrusts herself and thus the baby towards me.
is Dino. Ain't that just the cutest name?
Why did you name the baby Dino? I just grunt in response. I'm trying to see around her up to where the guide is alternating between shooting Linda death glares and trying to narrate the walk. If he said anything useful about the canyon in the past couple of minutes, I've missed it entirely. Glancing over at Marina, who's pulled away a couple of feet, it looks like she's enjoying my torture in struggling silence. Tears have formed at the corner of her eyes, glittering in the dying light. They're the good kind of tears, the kind from laughing too much. Her hand is smoshed over her mouth and she's shaking with the effort of staying silent. There's no way I can let her get away with that, especially since I need to get closer to the front for now. I grab her arm and tug her over into Linda's line of sight.
I'm Jane.
The enthusiasm in my voice is so forced.
And this is my friend Lacey.
I use fake names just to be safe. Marina limply shakes Linda's hand, which has grabbed hers. The mirth has vanished from Marina's face. Good.
Nice to meet you.
I like how, they replaced the names here, but still have the actual name in back with a question mark. It's a funny little detail. Linda pumps her arms like a guillotine, grinning broadly and yet still managing to walk.
It's so good to see young people taking an interest in nature and history and all that. Are y'all from around here? We're originally from Tennessee, see, but moved to Wisconsin and...
Having been properly introduced, I leave Marina to suffer through the family history. I shift away and walk ahead, passing by most of the tour group so that I can better hear the guide. For a while, he talks about the wildlife and history of the park. After a couple minutes, though, the lessons become more relevant.
We'll be coming up on the Mummy Cave ruins here in just a little bit. That's one of the better-known sites in the canyon. 700 years ago, it was a bustling Puebloan village. We can't get too close to the ruins, so unfortunately it might be a little too late to really see them clearly tonight. While the Mummy Cave itself hasn't ever been open to the public.
That's all I needed to know, so I start to slip back towards Marina. It looks like she's still being held hostage by the tales of Wisconsin family adventures. Linda notices me approaching.
Oh, Jane, there you are. I was just telling Lacey about one of the cows I helped birth when I was younger.
How does that come up in casual conversation? I'm not sure how the conversation went from introductions to cow birth in such a short span of time, but I'm not curious enough to ask. When I rejoin Marina, she mouths 2 words.
Save me!
I don't know how to get out of this one. Annoyance aside, it'll be impossible to slip away with Linda's intention on us. But it seems we're in luck. As we go around in another bend in the road, something more interesting than Marina and me comes into view.
Oh, Howard, look! This is it. This is one of those mummy ruins I was telling you about.
Linda elbows forward, moving ahead of us.
You girls make sure you get a good spot. You're gonna want to see this, even if it's dark out.
She forges ahead, her husband trailing dutifully. As he passes, I think I hear him say sorry, though I'm not certain. I sympathize with the guy. Once they're out of earshot, Marina makes it sound like a train letting out steam.
Oh my god. I thought I was gonna explode. My ears or my head or my brain or something.
Yeah, there are some people that just like to talk and talk and talk. They usually mean well. It's just a little much.
Saw you laughing and figured it wasn't fair if I was the only one who suffered.
I'd take it all back if I could. Seriously, though, first she was talking about herself, then about her kid, then about her childhood, and then she started talking about growing up on a farm. Somehow she ended up going on about cows having babies and how messy it all is. I don't even know.
What, you're not interested in that stuff?
Ew, no! Gross, gross, gross!
She wrinkles up her face as she says it. I giggle, but then turn serious real fast.
Okay, but listen. Because it's dark, the group probably isn't gonna stop to look at the Mummy Cave ruins for very long. So we'll have to wait until we can sneak away again, and then go over there ourselves.
How far away are they?
No idea. I can't see from here. Just follow my lead again.
Got it.
We've been at the very back of the group the entire time. The people right in front of us are much less interested in us than Linda was, so I don't think anyone will notice if we go missing. As we reach a railing, the guide stops to point out the ruins. They're across a small valley a couple 100 yards away. In the darkness, it's almost impossible to see them. They're just a dark smudge against the even darker backdrop of a mountain. Marina and I are a few yards away from the group, too. I pretend to inspect something on a rock, though there's nothing there. As the short speech ends and the guide starts to lead everyone on again, I dart behind a rock and crouch down. Marina quickly follows. I can see her start to say something, but I cup my hand over her mouth before she can get a word out. Silently, I shake my head. Marina nods twice, so I uncover her face. In my head, I count to 60. Once a minute has passed, I peel away from the rock and stand back up.
We should be safe now.
Marina's face lights up and she claps her hands. I know she's taken out the journal page with the hiding spot again.
That was so cool! It was like something out of a video game where you just sneak away right in front of everyone.
So, like Metal Gear, or Assassin's Creed, or Splinter Cell, or Mark of the Ninja.
I guess so, but we still can't be noisy. They're not gonna be that far away. No flashlights either.
This close up, I can see her face fall at that.
Don't worry, I'll be right beside you.
Are we just gonna hop the fence and walk over there?
Unless you have any better ideas.
What if they catch us?
Then they'll throw us out.
We're not gonna get arrested for trespassing or anything, are we?
Possibly.
Nah, that'd be too much trouble for them.
I say that, although I don't actually know.
Okay.
The uncertainty in her voice is obvious. I grab the paper from her hands and stuff it into my pocket.
Let's go. The longer we wait, the more likely it is that they'll notice us missing.
I stroll over to the metal rail, hoping that I sound more confident than I am. Honestly, this is pretty risky and more than a little stupid. But it's also exciting. I duck down and underneath the rail. After a moment, Marina does the same. We're officially out of bounds. Across the small field, I can still just barely make out the shape of the ruins. They sit close to the mouth of a large cave that runs up the mountain like a scar.
Okay, come on.
There's an incline, but it's not too bad. Next to me, Marina spreads her arms out for balance, but I'm confident enough to not need to. Crossing over to the ruins themselves will be the riskiest part. There's no cover, and anyone who happens to look over will see us. We just have to hope that the tour group isn't moved to somewhere without a line of sight on us.
Okay, hurry.
I grab Marina's hand and start to run. She struggles to keep up, so I slow down a bit. It takes maybe 2 minutes from one end to the other. When we reach the far wall, Marina's breathing is strained.
Don't do much running, do you?
Not it! Oh.
Wow. Every word is punctuated with a pant. I'm winded too, but fight my lungs to not show it. I have to look strong for Marina.
Ready for the fun part?
Is it actually fun?
Sort of.
Not yet. We've still got to get up there.
I point to the lip of the cave, a good 50 feet or so above us still. Marina's face goes pale as she stares at the sheer rock wall in front of us.
We're not gonna have to climb that, are we?
How else?
I wait a second for the shock to hit her face before I laugh and shake my head.
Just kidding. Come over here.
You're getting awfully playful, Amber. Short distance is a slope. God, short distance away is a slope, somewhat steep but not too long. It leads up into part of the cave close to the ruins.
We actually do have to go up this one.
Her face still looks doubtful.
I don't know if I can get up that.
Sure you can. It's easy. Look.
I hike up a couple of steps. Dirt and a bit of gravel tumble down past my feet, but it's mostly stable.
It's almost all dirt. If it was loose rock, we'd be in trouble.
Still looking uncertain, Marina takes a careful step behind me, then another. She slides back down a little bit with each step.
Try to spread out your weight a little more evenly. You don't want to lose your balance and fall over.
By doing what I say, she's able to reach where I'm standing.
Good job. Now just do that like 50 more times.
Marina groans, but I've already started. I glance back behind me. She's trailing only a couple of steps back. For all her worrying, she's doing okay. I'm just about to compliment her when I feel the earth shift beneath me and my foot slides loose. With a yelp, I lose my balance, arms flailing as I try not to fall. Then, faster than I can process, Marina's arms shoot out and grab my sleeve. She tugs me back upright.
Are you okay? Oh my god, is your ankle alright? It's not broken, is it?
Panic is clearly painted across her face.
No, I'm fine. I'm fine.
The only thing injured is my pride.
Are you sure?
Yeah, thanks. Good save.
We climb up the rest of the way together, but slowly. At the top, both of us stretch and catch our breath.
That wasn't so bad, was it?
Besides the part where you almost died, maybe.
I didn't almost die. Besides, that's what I have my sidekick for.
She gives me a playful shove.
Hey, I told you, I'm not the sidekick here.
Uh-huh. You'll still have to earn the title of captain. Or commander. Whatever it is. And you can do that by finding this thing before I do.
Now that she's actually up in the ruins themselves, it's more clear just how tough this is going to be. The cave stretches a long way, like a deep scar on the mountain. Delicate clay buildings, some barely as tall as we are arranged throughout. They say this was a village, but it's hard to imagine anyone living here. Everything is so cramped and small.
Where do you think we should start?
Hard to say. It won't be anywhere obvious. Remember, people have been studying this place for decades.
What if someone already found it? Like a long time ago.
I shrug, but that's probably impossible to see. The sun has now gone entirely down, leaving us in shadowed darkness. I wonder why Marina doesn't seem bothered by it this time.
If they did, then I haven't heard anything about it. We've just got to start looking. Try to be careful, though.
I feel bad being here. Maybe this was a bad idea.
Be super careful, then. And watch for spiders!
I flick on the spare flashlight and pass it to her, just in time to see the look of disgust at the mention of spiders. We split up, staying close to each other, but not overlapping where we look. I get down on my hands and knees, shining light into every corner and cranny that I can. I worried that our lights might be visible from a distance, even though they aren't very powerful. The only alternative would be sneaking over in broad daylight, and we'd be much more likely to be caught then. I'm not finding anything except dirt. I brush my fingers along the clay bricks in hope of finding a loose stone or secret compartment, but there's nothing like that. Nearby, Marina is doing the same thing. She's hitched up her undress so that it doesn't drag on the ground, and I force myself to look away rather than stare. She offers quite a view, though. After a moment, Marina giggles. I'm not sure why. I haven't spoken at all because I don't want our voices to echo in the cave and give us away, but silently searching gets tedious fast, so I decide to try whispering.
What's so funny?
I don't know. Everything, I guess? I was just thinking how weird this is. Like, it's just so random, you know?
All right, Aristotle.
Who's that?
Marina, really?
Never mind. But yeah, it is kind of crazy.
Deciding that the building I was scouring is a lost cause, I move on to the next one.
I know it's probably not a big deal for you since you do this stuff all the time, but this is honestly the most fun I've ever had, I think.
Destroying ancient Native American landmarks?
I'm being careful, super careful, but just in general, being out here on the road. I thought maybe I was making a mistake when I left, but not anymore.
I'm glad.
And I am. I really am.
Guess it worked out well for both of us.
I can't see her from here, but I know she's smiling. Then she giggles again.
Oh, Amber, you're a big ol' softy after all, aren't you?
I'm not. I take it back. I should have left you on the side of the road.
This time we both laugh. After that, we lapse back into near silence, just the sound of us crawling around or occasionally moving to another building to search. Soon, the happy atmosphere starts to dissolve as we start getting frustrated. Or at least I do. It takes maybe 20 minutes before we've looked over all the buildings. There aren't too many, and combing over them isn't that hard, but we don't find anything. Not even a clue or hint that we're in the right spot. Hang on 1 second, please. Sorry about that. Had to take care of something. Not even a clue or hint that we're in the right spot. Sighing through my nose, I start double-checking some of the larger homes. All the crawling and bending is starting to take a toll on me. When I straighten up, my back is sore and sweat presses my hair to my forehead. We should have brought some bottles of water with us. I lean against a rock wall and massage my shoulders. Marina finishes up a building, then joins me. She's biting her lip, frowning a little.
Any luck?
Nope, nothing. You?
We both pause, silent.
So... that's it, right? Like we've checked all the buildings?
Can't be. We must have missed something. I'm going to try checking out the cave itself.
She just stands there, watching as I head over to the far side. I shine my flashlight up and down and up again, examining every inch of the rock. There's gotta be a crevice where the gold is stashed. Or some other hiding place. There has to be. But none of the cracks are wide enough or deep enough for something like that. A few minutes later, and I pass by Marina, still in the same place. I check her face as I go. Her eyebrows are furrowed, and she looks worried. I keep hunting. Images of Mariah triumphantly holding up the gold spur me on. Just the thought of her smug grin pisses me off. When I reach the other end of the cave, I double back and check it again. And again. Finally, Marina pulls away from the wall. I hear it, but don't see it.
Amber, come on. There's no way.
Her voice is a knife in my heart. It hurts because I know she's right. I sigh and flick off my flashlight. Standing there, I look at the invisible ground and have to admit the truth to myself. It's not here. There's no treasure to be found in the Mummy Cave ruins. Either we got it wrong or someone beat us to it. Whichever the answer, there's nowhere else in here that it could be. I make my way back to Marina slowly. I can feel stinging tears of frustration beginning to well up in my eyes, which surprises me. I'm sure Mariah would be laughing at me if she was here right now. Abruptly, I stop walking towards her and spin around. I don't want Marina to see. There's the sound of crunching dirt as she walks over.
Amber!
There's worry in her voice. I shake my head. I don't know if she can see. She lays her hand on my shoulder and 2 tears manage to leak out of my eyes. I shake my head again.
Amber, it's okay.
No. I'm sorry. I screwed up. I was wrong. There's nothing here.
I know there isn't. Seriously, that's okay.
I sob, not even knowing why. Damn it. Get a grip, Amber. I wrench my eyes shut before the waterworks really start. It burns, but I manage to hold back. Taking deep breath, I get myself under control. I sink down to lean against the wall of the cave. Marina does the same. 1 second. Sorry about that. I sink down onto lean against the wall of the cave. Marina does the same. Our clothes are dusty from being on the ground so much. Marina pokes me in the side.
You okay?
I draw a rattly breath.
Yeah, I'm fine. Sorry. I don't know what that was about. I just got super frustrated.
Yeah, I could tell.
Can it?
I flick her gently on the knee.
But, that was kind of embarrassing.
No, it's okay, really. I cry all the time at home. Don't worry.
It's like losing. Not finding the treasure, I mean. So I'm mad for wasting all our time on this. Aren't you?
No, why would I be?
She sounds genuinely surprised.
Because now we're behind on the next one, too. What if someone beats us to all the rest of them?
Now you sound like me.
Oh god, is there a cure?
Meanie. But really, I had fun, so I don't think it was a waste of time. Even if we're not, like, super rich now, I'm glad we came here.
Once again, I don't even have to look to know she's smiling. She's always smiling after all. It's one of the cuter things about her, and there are lots of those. But I'm afraid to look up and meet her eyes. Afraid of what I've been starting to feel lately, and how I've been thinking of her. It's stupid to get bothered by this now, I know. We've been together all day. But right now, when I'm being already over-emotional, I feel like it'd be a bad idea.
Amber?
And then, by reflex, I do it anyway. I look over, and I was right. My heart flutters a little, but the smile I was anticipating has been replaced by yet another look of concern.
Yeah, you're right. I guess it wasn't so bad.
She brightens up immediately.
For real?
Mm-hmm. I'm good now. Still, sorry for freaking out there for a sec.
It's okay. Don't feel bad.
Groaning, I stand up again. I'm definitely gonna be sore tomorrow.
We should get out of here, though. The longer we spend, the more likely we are to get caught.
It's been probably 45 minutes or so since we ditched the tour group. Hopefully they didn't get search and rescue out looking for us. I offer my hand to Marina, who's still sitting on the ground. She takes it, and I haul her to her feet. After dusting herself off, we both walk to the edge of the cave. It's impossible to see anything. Even the trail across the way is invisible from here.
Watch your step going down the hill.
Yeah, we don't want anyone to almost die again.
Going down the hill is easier than going up, though we still have to be careful. We make it to the bottom without incident. We don't risk the flashlights until we're back across the fence and on the trail. Now that we're not out of bounds, it doesn't matter if people see us.
Where do we go now?
I think about it for a moment. There's not much point in catching up with the tour again. Besides, it's probably ended by now. Still, if they did notice that we disappeared, then it could be bad for us to just leave the park. The last thing I want is to see our faces on missing person posters the next time we stop at a gas station. They've got a 45-minute lead on us, and that'll only grow if we were to try to find them.
We'll just go back to the parking lot and get out of here. If anyone asks, we can just say we left early.
Thank God. I was hoping you'd say that.
How come?
I'm so tired.
Same. My back's gonna hurt for a year.
At least you have the comfy bed.
Hey, you could always... grab some more pillows from the closet if you need.
Really, Amber? Look, I know what you're thinking, but, you could also just offer, hey, we could swap beds for the night. You could get the bed and I'll take the couch. You could always just, do that.
There are more?
Oh yeah. Gramps liked to have a zillion pillows when he slept.
Oh.
She sounds let down. Oops, maybe I shouldn't have made that connection there.
Don't worry. They weren't like his special pillows or anything. You can use them.
All right.
Damn, she really starts to worry when I mention him. Guess there's a good reason for that. For right now, though the thought is a familiar jab of sadness, I'm not about to break down. I'm doing okay for now. We're quiet the rest of the way down the trail, though. Without having to stick to the slow pace of a guided tour, it's actually a quick walk. There aren't any other hikers out, which surprises me. It's dark, but not that late. As we reach the parking lot, it seems we had perfect timing, or maybe perfectly awful. Spilling out of a trailhead on the other side is the tour group that we were briefly a part of. I recognize the tour guide as well as...
Oh, there you girls are!
Linda. She came from my blind spot before we had time to hide. I don't even try to force a smile as I turn to face her. She strolls up to us. Dino's still asleep. Or Dino. Howard's nowhere to be seen, though. Maybe he's in their car.
I was hoping to see y'all before you left.
Yeah, we were pretty tired, so we came back early.
Oh, I'll bet you are.
She winks at me like she's in on the joke. Problem is, I don't know what the joke's supposed to be. I think she's assuming that the two of you sneaked off to go... just kiss each other.
What do you mean?
Don't think I didn't notice you two running off now. Figured you were,
Yup, that's exactly what she's assuming. She laughs and shakes her head.
I think that's good, though. Reminds me of me and my Howard when we were younger. We used to sneak off every chance we got, if you know what I mean.
My face starts to turn red as I realize what she's thinking. Marina's probably tomato-colored, though I don't turn to look.
We weren't... we're not.
No need to be embarrassed or anything like that. And besides, at least you won't get pregnant.
Oh, she, assumed a little more than what I guessed. God, that's the second person. I mean, their guess isn't far off for your feelings, but also, She laughs heartily, the baby on her chest bouncing with emotion.
Sorry, though. I'm getting to be a bit too nosy for my own good. Y'all girls be safe out there. It was nice to get to know you.
She grabs my hand from my side and pumps it in a vigorous handshake, then does the same to Marina. Neither of us react, still dumbfounded. Then she heads off towards the sea of cars. More of a puddle now, since most have already left. Well, this is an awkward moment to leave on. I turn to Marina. As expected, her face is scarlet.
Wow.
Right? That poor baby. And that poor husband.
I didn't think people like that were real. Like, they only existed in books and movies and stuff.
and visual novels.
They say the desert does weird things to your head. Or maybe Wisconsin does.
Probably Wisconsin. I shrug and start walking back toward the RV. I'm glad that Marina doesn't push the topic of Linda's misconception. I unlock the door and let Marina in first. We're one of the last ones here. Before I pull the door shut, I take a final look around Canyon de Chelly, or what little of it I can see. It may have been a bust, but like Marina said, it wasn't a total waste of time. Okay. I think with that, I'll end it off for today. Just because it's been, about an hour and a half, I think. And also there are some things happening in real life that are distracting me. So, for now, thank you for watching, and we'll continue this next time. I hope you're enjoying the story, and have a good day.